Greetings, Wine Vault guests. Just wanted to welcome you to our virtual French 75 cocktail making class. This is our latest cocktail that we're introducing this week for our French-inspired menu. And it can be a little bit of an intimidating cocktail to make at home, but we've taken all of the guesswork out of it for you here and are making it very easy for you to make at home. But before we get into actually making the cocktail, and I've got everybody's favorite bartender, Marek, here, who will be demonstrating how easy this is to make with our little kit. I want to give you a little bit of a brief introduction to how I first discovered this cocktail. It was about 9-10 years ago, and my wife and I, Mary, were in New Orleans doing recon for our first ever cocktail tour there, and we stumbled onto this great little hotel bar called Luke's, and they were famous for having the most amazing happy hour with oysters on the half shell for only 25 cents a shell. I'm sure they're not 25 cents a shell anymore, but long story short, I've always had this fantasy of sitting down and eating 100 oysters in one sitting. And I'm either proud or embarrassed to let you all know that I actually did that 9 years ago. And it took me every single minute of the 3-hour happy hour to eat that 100th oyster. But how do you get 100 oysters down? Well, you know, the obvious answer is with champagne, because champagne and oysters is a wonderful pairing. But they weren't serving champagne by the glass. But what they did have was this amazing cocktail that I've never ever had before in my life, and it's called the French 75. And it is a champagne-based cocktail. And basically its roots go back to 1914, when that's its first recorded notation in history, back in the New York bar in Paris, which is now known as Harry's. Their version was done with gin, and the version that I had at Luke's was done with cognac, which I immensely prefer. But essentially, it's just a mixture of cognac, simple syrup, and fresh squeezed lemon juice, and then topped with champagne. So at any rate, I had these, actually I had 5 of them to wash down 100 oysters, so it was a pretty epic 3-hour happy hour. But what a great cocktail it is. And like I said before, it is a little intimidating to make on your own, because you do need to get all those ingredients together, which you may or may not have. But what we've done is we've pre-packaged them into what we're affectionately calling our little French 75 kit here. And this is over 50% cognac, by the way, so this is a powerful drink. And what we've got is 12 ounces of the kit, and you just need to get a bottle of bubbly. You can either get our Cava for 10 bucks a bottle, or we actually have a real good Nicolas Feuillatte champagne for 38. But bottle of champagne or bubbly is going to be around 24 ounces, 25 ounces. The mix is 12 ounces, and it's a 1-to-2 ratio, so super simple. So what Marek's going to do right now is he's going to fill his martini shaker with ice, and because we're both thirsty, we're going to make 2 drinks. And we're going to put, it's normally 2 ounces of the mix per person, but we're going to put in 4 ounces. And basically he'll take that and put it into the martini shaker and shake it vigorously for about 15-20 seconds here. And I'll stop talking while he does that. Perfect. And then what you do is you strain that into a champagne flute, or in our case, 2 champagne flutes, because we made a double. And if you don't have a martini shaker at home, you can do this. Just put the mix into a glass filled with ice and stir it vigorously. But the big thing is, when you strain it, make sure that you don't have any ice into the drink. So here you have the base of the drink, and then you basically just top it with some bubbly. So the other thing that I have to mention is that you have to make sure that you pour the bubbly in very, 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 very slowly, because if you don't, it will foam up. And you see how I just poured in like about an ounce, and it's already almost foamed up. So just kind of go back and forth so that it doesn't foam up on you. And then what we're going to do is we have these amazing cherries that we're going to add to the mix. And these are optional, but highly, highly recommended. The story on our cherries is this is actually our 4th year of doing these cherries. And we started off 4 years ago with this mixture of amaretto and cognac, and we basically marinated the cherries in them for the entire year. And each subsequent year, we save some of the liquor from the previous year and then add new cherries to it and then top it off with more amaretto and more cognac. So basically these cherries have actually got some of the original liquor in it from 4 years ago, and every year they just get more and more complex. We're actually next month getting ready to do our 5th year Solera, so pretty amazing cherries. At any rate, we should try this. Cheers, Merrick.
Cheers.
Oh my gosh, that just takes me right back to New Orleans at Luke's. All I need now is some oysters. Cheers, people. Thank you.
Enjoy.